What is up, Nittany Nation? I'm back. It's a new season. We are 1 month away from Penn State's first home game against Marshall. Today's podcast is going to be a little bit different. We are going to go over the schedule and we're going to kind of predict what we think is going to happen. Obviously, we're going to try to do it in an unbiased opinion, but you're only getting bias from me. So, first game of the year, it's going to be at home against Marshall. I think we get off to a great start. I think we're going to see the defense be really dominant. I think our secondary is going to be one of the best secondaries in college football. Safeties, I think, are going to be really strong, but I also think the cornerbacks might be the best group of cornerbacks that we've ever had at Penn State. Only time's going to tell, so we will see there. Think we get that win pretty easily there, so we're going to start the year off 1-0. Next two games are going to be pretty easy, in my personal opinion. We're going to be at Temple on the 12th of September. Again, I think we cakewalk that one. I think there's going to be a couple of drives where we're questioning what's going on with the offense, but at the same time, it's a bunch of new players that haven't necessarily played together, and there's going to be guys who came back from last year who didn't see the field as much, getting a lot of playing time. So I think we're going to have to work through those kinks, but the goal for me, at least, is by game 4 and 5, we're hitting on all cylinders. I think at Temple, we do pick up another W and we start the season 2-0. I think the fan base starts to get hyped. We go into the home game against Buffalo September 19th. I actually think we dominate them pretty easily. I think we're going to put up 60 points-ish, 50-60, which for Matt Campbell, if you know anything about him, his teams haven't always been good at scoring a lot of points. Them getting over 30 points a game has been a little on the rare side, but I think that's going to change being at Penn State. So I see us getting off to a quick 3-0 start. The first game of the year where I think we may see a little bit of a struggle, or at least see a slight test, is going to be at home against Wisconsin on September 26th. The only reason I say this, and I've been a fan since the early 2000s, back when Deion Butler was there at wide receiver, Darryl Clark, all those guys, I think the Wisconsin quarterback, Colton Joseph, he's in Old Dominion transfer in. I think he's going to give us some fits, and we've always had troubles, whether it's the last couple of years or the last decade, with quarterbacks who can run the ball. He had 1,000 yards rushing last year as a QB. He's not a big throwing quarterback for that sake, so I think we're going to do pretty well against his pass, but I'm a little bit worried about his running. If we don't have the proper spy on him, he could take off and run and get big yardage. We saw that a lot last year. Again, I think this is a completely different team than last year, but we got beat pretty bad against, what was that guy's name, Nico over there at UCLA, by running the ball against us. Obviously, Ohio State, the quarterback did it against us, and we've always kind of struggled with those quarterbacks who can run the football. I do think we come out of there with a win and we start the season 4-0. The Northwestern game, to me, I know a lot of people aren't talking about it. I do think it's a slight trap game. The only reason I say this is because it's Northwestern debuting their new stadium. It's their first home game, October 3rd. I do predict us coming out with a win on that one. I think Aiden Childs, he's a great QB, but I just don't think he's going to be that productive, and he's never been that productive. I think last year he had 10 touchdowns throwing the ball. The year before that he had 13, and that was kind of his peak. They're not going to be able to do much against us. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think the atmosphere is going to be incredible, but I do see us coming away with a win there, and we're going to start the season 5-0, and that's where we're going to go into our home game against USC. Supposedly, it's the whiteout. I will be there. It's a done deal. Time has already been submitted. I think USC is going to be an absolute monster this year. If there's one team that kind of scares me a little bit on our schedule, it's actually not Michigan. I think Washington's going to be a tough game, but I don't think they scare me to that nature that USC does. USC is a team on steroids. If they hit their full potential, I think they're going to be a nasty team. But again, I'm going to go out on a limb now and say our team is going to be better than last year's team. I know there was a lot of players that left, a lot of new players that came in. We saw it with Indiana when Kurt Nittany brought in new players from his school, that they kind of played really well, and he took those 3 stars and made them into national champions. I think we have the leg up by having Iowa State guys come over, and we got a lot of the great Iowa State players. That's the good part. We kept a lot of the good Penn State guys, and then the guys who weren't really bought into us ended up leaving, and I'm fully okay with that. I think the culture's shifting. I love the training this week. A lot of the guys are talking about family and creating a new atmosphere where you're bought in. Absolutely love that. I think we're going to surprise everybody, and we're going to upset USC on October 10th, and we're going to start the season 6-0. Emotions riding high from that game. I think the game at Michigan, I'd love to see us go into the Big House and absolutely beat the brakes off them, because they did it to us a couple years ago where they just kept pouring on the points. I actually think we're going to struggle in that game, not because I think Bryce Underwood is a good QB. I don't think he's going to do much against us. I think the run game is going to be something that we struggle with against them, but I do see them at home getting that W. And the only reason I say that is I went back and I looked at Matt Campbell's road record as a coach. He's 31-31. That concerns me a little bit, especially in the Big Ten. Going on the road is very difficult. The environment is completely different than coming from the teams that Iowa State has played in those environments, completely different environments. I think we will lose there. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think we'll get the brakes beat off us. But I do see us taking the L there and starting the season 6-1. October 31st, that could, in a sense, be a trap game because it's Purdue. It's Halloween. You never know what's going to happen there. But I do see us winning that game, probably pulling away late and winning by at least 21 points. So we're going into the Washington game, November 7th at Washington. We are 7-1. Unfortunately, I do see us losing the Washington game. I think Desmond Williams is a great quarterback who can sling the ball. The only way I could see us winning that game is he has taken a lot of bad sacks. I believe last year he was sacked 31 times. And there was 4 games where he was sacked 4 to 6 times. So if we can create that pressure, which we don't necessarily know with our defensive line at the moment, how great those guys are going to be. We get a couple of guys back who I think could be superstars, and ultimately the size of our defensive line is completely different. We get a healthy Tony Rojas. We have the transfer linebacker, whether he's going to play linebacker, he's going to play defensive end. We have Alex coming back as well from his injury last year. I think our team is going to be pretty good on the defensive side. I do see us, unfortunately, losing at Washington. Hopefully, we come out with a win. So that's going to make us, what are we now, 7-2. The rest of our schedule, we have Minnesota, November 14th. I think we win that game pretty easily. I know they got us last year, I believe it was. Again, different team, different coaching staff. We're coming. Our wide receiver group is very deep this year. I love the other day that Matt Campbell was talking about Zay Robinson, and he said he was one of those guys he brought over from Iowa State who he kind of is comparing to the hype that Kobe Howard had last year when he wasn't seeing the field under James Franklin. If we have 2 young guys going in with Chase and I can't remember the other guy, but the other guy on the other side of the field who came in from Iowa State, that sets us up for years to come. That'd be fantastic. So I see us beating Minnesota. Rutgers, I also see us beating. We've kind of dominated that series the entire time we've played them, so it's not necessarily anything I'm too worried about with them. I think we get a good defensive game there. We get a great offensive game. Maryland would be the only other game on our schedule that I think could go, if things don't look well. Malik Washington, I think, is a phenomenal quarterback. Unfortunately, he chose to go to Maryland, where the rest of the team isn't phenomenal like him. But he's a playmaker. He can get things done. I haven't done too much research into what their recruiting class looks like, what their wide receivers, their defense, their running back, any of that. I do see us coming away with that win at Maryland, and I see us finishing the season 10-2. There's a possibility, depending on how everything else falls in the Big Ten, Ohio State, Oregon, USC are the top 3. I would actually throw us in there. We could be on the outside looking into the Big Ten championship game. I'm completely okay with that. I don't think we need to go to the Big Ten championship game to make the playoffs. But ultimately, I see us surprising the country this year. If we made the Big Ten championship game, you will see me there. We're going. It's a done deal. But we don't want to get our hopes up. James Franklin, used car salesman, always got our hopes up, always crushed us at the end of the day, always sold us a brand new Cadillac that was a bust and had engine issues. So we're hoping to not fully throw ourselves into this season just yet. 10-2 would be a great outcome. theoretically 9-3 wouldn't surprise me. If we ended up losing that USC game, I could see us losing back-to-back games, USC, Michigan, and then losing 3 out of the 4 against the Washington there. But ultimately, I'm hoping we go 10-2, have a stellar year. Recruiting class is going to go crazy. Matt Campbell's going to go crazy. Everybody's going to want to go to Happy Valley to win a championship and do something crazy. I'm excited. I can't wait to actually be in the stadium to see the new renovations and the new section to open. It's going to be pretty high up. I'm not sitting anywhere on that side just because of that. But I'm excited. I think the fan base should be excited. I think everyone's a little hesitant at the moment just because of previous years and what we thought we were going in the direction and our potential. But I think we have a team that could do some serious damage. I think Rocco Bet is going to be phenomenal for us. The running back room might be the deepest running back room we've had, and I know that's saying a lot considering we have a lot of running backs that have gone through our program and they've been deep. Journey Brown, Saquon Barkley, Evan Royster, the list goes on and on. But I do think this is a great running back room. All 4 of those guys essentially could start anywhere they wanted to go in the country. I am really, 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 really high on James Peoples. I think if he gets the opportunity to showcase how great he is, he's going to absolutely develop for us. And he's going to prove that we are a team that just replaces players and comes back and wants to win. So that's my prediction for the season. Feel free to drop your prediction in the bottom in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe. Again, this is Steve. We are PSU Talk. I'm excited for this year. Let's get it. I'll see you guys this week. I have another video dropping. Peace out.